You know that feeling when you're just stuck? Stuck because you feel like whatever you're doing has to be absolutely perfect? Well, today we're going to talk all about that feeling, perfectionism, and a really simple rule that might just help you break free.
See, there's this quiet little idea that's probably working against you in the background. It's not some loud, obvious villain. Nope, it's more like a silent saboteur, just silently draining your productivity, chipping away at your confidence, and making everything feel way, way harder than it needs to be. And yeah, that saboteur, it has a name: perfectionism. It's that nagging voice that keeps you from starting a new project, from trying to learn that skill you've always wanted to, or even just sharing your work with the world. Honestly, it's a total confidence killer, but it's disguised as this noble quest for quality. Now, here's what makes perfectionism so tricky. It kind of has two sides to it. There's a good side that we all recognize, and then there's this much darker side that a lot of the time we don't even notice is there. So, on one hand, you've got ambition and high standards, and hey, those are great things. They're what push us to get better. But then there's that dark side. That's the nagging little voice of fear and self-doubt that keeps whispering, hey, don't start until you're totally ready, or what if it's not absolutely flawless? And just like that, ambition morphs into procrastination, and having high standards turns into a crippling fear of what other people will think. And you know what? This feeling is becoming more and more common. I mean, just look at social media. We're constantly comparing our messy, behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's perfectly polished highlight reel. And it starts early. Think back to school, where we're often taught that making a mistake is a failure, not, a crucial part of the learning process.
Okay, so how do we fight back? How do we break out of this cycle? The answer is actually surprisingly simple. It's all about something called the action principle.
At its heart, the principle is just this one powerful idea. Imperfect action will always beat perfect inaction. Every single time. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Let me prove it to you with this fascinating experiment.
So picture this. A photography professor divides his class into two groups. He tells the first group, the quantity group, that they'll be graded purely on the number of photos they turn in. The more, the better. Then he tells the second group, the quality group, that they'll be graded on the perfection of just a single photo.
So the semester ends, and he starts looking through all the final projects. Now, which group do you think actually produced the highest quality work?
You might be surprised. The best photos, every single one of them, came from the quantity group. And it wasn't even close.
So, why? Well, because the quantity group was out there doing stuff. They were taking hundreds of pictures, messing with lighting and angles, making tons of mistakes, and learning from every single shot. Meanwhile, the quality group, they were stuck thinking. They got paralyzed, just theorizing about what a perfect photo would look like, and in the end, they just had theories, not results. This proves a super important point. You can't think your way to getting better at something, you have to act your way there.
And that story perfectly sets us up for a practical tool you can start using right away. It's a simple little mental model I like to call the 77% rule.
Now look, the number itself isn't some kind of magic bullet. For you, maybe it's 60%, maybe it's 82%. It doesn't really matter. The point is the mindset that's behind the number.
So what is it? It's really just a mental switch. Asking yourself, can I make this perfect, is totally paralyzing, right? Because the answer is almost always no. So instead, you ask this: can I make this 77% as good as I want it to be? See, that's a much more doable goal. It just lowers the pressure and gives you permission to actually get started.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put this into practice? How do we use it in our day-to-day lives?
All right, first step, start messy. Seriously, give yourself permission for that first draft to be just awful. Your only goal is to get it done, to that 77% mark, not to make it flawless. You can save your high standards for later, for the editing and refining part. I mean, think about it. You can't edit a blank page, right?
This is also about knowing when to stop. Chasing that last 23%, that's where the law of diminishing returns really kicks in. As you can see here, the effort it takes to go from 77% to 100% can be just as much as it took to get the first 77% done. And for what? For these tiny little improvements that, let's be honest, most people won't even notice.
The real key here is to just get comfortable with good enough. Once your work hits that 77% standard, it's ready. Ship it, share it, move on to the next thing. The faster you finish, the faster you can start something new and keep learning and growing.
But really, at the end of the day, this isn't just about a rule or some random number. It's about completely rewiring your brain and adopting a whole new mindset about your work, your creativity, and how you make progress.
Think about it. That old perfectionist mindset, it's all driven by fear. Fear of failing, fear of making mistakes. But this new mindset flips the script completely. It says, don't just fear failure, use it. Don't just avoid mistakes, collect them, because they're data. And stop seeking perfection, start seeking progress.
So let's end right where we started, with the single most important thing to remember from all of this. Imperfect action will always, and I mean always, beat perfect inaction.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. That project you've been putting off, that idea you've been overthinking for weeks, what is one thing you can start today at just 77%?